Broadcasting from the greatest castle in the world, in the county of Lawrence, NCTV45.
Hello and welcome to another Meet the Candidate as we go through this primary election season. And well, the primary election coming up really fast. And what day is that, Albert?
May 21st.
And things getting pretty interesting. Now, Albert, you've been on quite a few times, and there's a movement out there with a youthful group, and you always want a youthful group to participate, but they may lack some of the experience.
Yeah, and first of all, thanks for having me again. It's always a pleasure to see you. Listen, I think I said this in one of my interviews. I'm really excited that there's a lot of young personalities that want to engage in local government. The fact remains is this: Newcastle, the next 4 years, is going to be headed into probably one of the most critical times in our city, financially, and it's simply not the time to experiment upstairs. If you don't elect a mayor that has serious understanding of the city finances and a clear understanding of how to get out of Act 47, we will not survive 23 and 24. I explained this before. We're servicing a debt service right now, $2.9 million a year. Our earliest debt relief is not till 2025, when it reduces to $1.2 million a year. So if we have to come out of Act 47 in 2022, our critical years for survival are going to be 23 and 24. And I've illustrated a plan to come out of that. And this is where experience and making business decisions for 20 years allows you to step into this position as mayor. But no, I have nothing against the younger folks running, and they're going to be a day for them. I'm confident there will be. Right now, I think the voters need to go to the booth with the mindset that experience counts.
Yeah, and I'm going to add to that. You know, it's a lot different taking the class, okay, and then going out and performing on the job. I can say both of those because I've got a degree, okay? So for anybody that wants to call me on that, wrong. Now, why don't you give us a little background on some of the things that were an overview of the last week and some comments that have floated by and some things that we can look on to correct.
We had a debate over the last several days, and listen, I've never said anything but good things about my opponent. I always said he was just a wonderful guy to share a few minutes with. He's a very bright young man. Unfortunately, these debate questions that were asked to us, I think were downloaded off the internet from a national debate prep. I don't recall one question that was relevant to what's going on in Newcastle or what the taxpayers expect out of their mayor.
And if you don't mind, I just want to interrupt for a second. They had to meet the candidate. They brought somebody in from another city, and I don't want to say who. Okay, and now we get downloaded debate questions. I think I addressed on Focus NC that what goes on in the greatest castle in the world should be decided by the people that live in the greatest castle in the world.
Look, I think one time when I was on here with you, I told you you can carry my petition for 3.5 weeks. I knocked on 1,200 doors. And what people told me were very simply this: can you make me safe? Will you pave my road? Can you pave my alley? And are you going to raise my taxes or not? This is what's important to the taxpayers of people. You know, being a mayor is running a business that offers services to the taxpayers. And listen, I'm all for unity and building relationships, But we've got some serious problems that need to be dealt with, okay? And I had a friend give me a statement, and I asked him if I could use it because I really thought well of the statement. He said, you know, if you bounce across the bridge and the bridge collapses, you'll never get to the other side to address the issues. But if we fix the bridge, we can all smoothly walk across and address the issues on the other side of the bridge. So, in short, you need to fix the bridge first. And we got some serious issues that lie ahead of us, and I'm not going to pick on people, but our public works is one of the biggest issues for the next mayor, besides our finances. And I've illustrated exactly what I want to do with public works. I'm totally in favor of working with the new council. I think we need to buy some equipment, and I think we need to start self-performing some of our smaller roads and intersections without going out to bid. I think it'll save us money. I think we'll get more accomplished with less money. And I made a promise, and I'll keep it. And anybody that knows Albert Conti will tell you one thing about him. I work 7 days a week. That's just who I am, and I think that's the kind of dedication your next mayor should have. And I fully intend on taking Public Works under my arm and revamping it and making it a very efficient business. And you will have good roads in a short period of time if I'm sitting in the mayor's seat.
There you go. And other things that were kind of talked about, this Act 47,
Yes.
and sometimes I give it the 147 twist. Okay, what experience does your opponent have in that area?
I think he has an MBA in home health. Okay? He said in his debate,
No, but has he ever held a public office?
No, sir. Not to the best of my knowledge, he hasn't.
Has he ever owned a business or something where he had to work with budgets and you know, have a business and you have to make a decision?
I said this on another show when I was interviewed at my office. I have a history of making business decisions for 20 years. Do you always make all the right decisions? No. But if you have an opportunity to make them, you'll learn by your bad ones. If you never had an opportunity to make one, you don't know if it's going to be a good one or a bad one. And we're not in a position right now to experiment with bad decisions. A couple bad decisions could be the termination for us. So I'm going to rely on the fact that my knowledge of infrastructure, being a city controller for 7.5 years, managing and facilitating the multi-million-dollar budget, working upstairs with our finance director, our CFO, understanding this process in its entirety, and managing multiple pursuits. I challenge local infrastructure. I've tore down buildings, I've built buildings. And I'm going to say it again, I don't think there's ever been a better time to have an infrastructure-minded mayor. But most importantly, you know, there's some other compounded issues that go along with exiting Act 47. If we create a commission and a study's done and they opt not to go into Act 47, and 2022, when we lose the commuter tax and the resident taxes drop to 1.6%, we head into 2023 losing $3+ million. Compound that issue now. If you read the report, there's no secret, it's all in here. Our revenues are going to decline at a 2% annual rate, but our operating costs are going to escalate at a 2% rate, largely in part because we have contracts and we offered 2% raises across the board. So we're going in this direction now. Not only do we lose a lot of our EIT money, but we have to find a way to survive in 2023 and 2024 without going home rule charter until our debt service reduces from $2.9 million to $1.2 million. And I'm sorry, but if you never had the ability to be in business and learn how to maneuver through these deals, I don't know how you're going to be a 30-year-old man, sit up in a mayor's seat, and be able to make this call.
You know, and I admire you, Albert, because I guess what that means is that you're not going to let your opponent's youth and inexperience be an issue in the campaign. experience counts, and a lot of times youthful enthusiasm gets laid aside, okay, and you need that experience. When you look at a baseball team, or you look at football or basketball, any sports team, they're always looking for an experienced anchor to get over the hump.
And I certainly hope we have a Republican mayor upstairs. One other thing you got to stress, the very best that's going to happen in this election is one Republican councilman, 4 Democratic. That's the very best that can happen. Could very well be 5 Democratic. We don't know yet. So you better find a way to cross the aisle, or you're going to be a lame duck mayor. Okay? I've been around this game. And if you can't work across the aisle and you can't find common ground, the people of the town will suffer. Nobody in that building will suffer. They'll continue to get paid. It's the taxpayers that's going to suffer if you can't get council to work with you and make good decisions for the taxpayers.
And this is a time we can't afford to do that.
Simply can't afford to do it right now.
As you said. Now, what are some other points that maybe need touched upon, and I don't want to be remiss in missing anything that maybe need addressed, or you've heard that people wanted that to talk about that maybe I haven't said, or
I want the people to understand that this isn't about any one person, this election. It's not about party affiliation. It's about selecting a candidate that truly has the energy to walk these streets, recognize the issues at hand, coupled with the knowledge to correct them. This is it. This is what you want your next mayor. Okay? I don't care if you're 30 years old. I don't care if you're 70 years old. If you don't have those facts that I just stated inside of you,
it's not going to work.
It's not going to work. Okay? And I'm not here running for a job. Okay? I'm running to do the job. It's as simple as that. And if you look at what I've done on Rose Avenue, I could have left Newcastle years ago. 2009, I bought a house next to me that was certain to become a problem child for everybody on that street. I paid $20,000 with my own money, not taxpayer dollars, my own private sector money. $5,000 to tear it down. I'm sorry, I purchased it for $20,000, and I built an addition on my house. That shows you how much I care about Newcastle. I could have taken that money. I could have went to Florida like one of the Democratic candidates, or I could have went to Neshannock, Union, Shenango. I chose to stay in the city because I still believe in Newcastle, and I still believe in the people in Newcastle. And we will get through this under the proper leadership.
It's the commitment to stay that's so important when you're choosing a candidate. And I think that's an admirable thing to address. In closing, any closing thoughts?
On May 21st, you'll be on your way to the polls, and I just ask for one thing. I'm asking you to help me so that I can help Newcastle. I need your support. I will give you the dedication it takes out of a mayor to keep you safe, have better roads. We will create unity, and we will make friends. We will build bridges, but we have to make sure that we survive as a town so that we can accomplish all these goals. And it's going to take the right mayor with the right qualifications. I've outlined my qualifications on many occasions. I need your support so that we can go to work for the city of Newcastle and the citizens, and we can restore this town to the grandeur it once was.
Well, I want to thank you, Albert.
Thanks, Angela, for having me. I appreciate it.
Always a pleasure. And you've been watching Meet the Candidate on NCTV45. And as the election approaches, I'm going to remind you that NCTV45, we're available anytime on your time, so make sure you tell a friend. Always in the pursuit of excellence, it's NCTV45. And as you go through, make sure you have a great day. See you again soon.